Hey guys, how's it going? It's Zach with US Fitness Products. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble our Inspire T7 treadmill. So your first step is to grab the main mast. That's going to be this U-shaped piece right here. We'll go ahead and pick this guy up. It's got a little bit of weight to it. If you're working by yourself, might not hurt to have somebody help you out, but I'm just going to do it by myself today. And we just go ahead and we line it up with these holes right up top. Just like so. You're going to have 6 bolts to lock this into place. Just go ahead and grab those and start by getting them in with your fingers. And we do this just to make sure nothing cross threads. If this is your first video with me, good, because you haven't heard me say that a bazillion times. If this isn't your first video, I'm sorry you keep having to hear me say that. All right, now that we have all of these in place, we can just go ahead and tighten these down. This frame is not one of the instances where we need to keep everything loose. We will likely keep everything past this point loose, but when attaching this to the frame, you don't really need to. What you do need to do is be sure that you connect it. So you have your connectors down here. They are all unique, so you don't have to worry about connecting the wrong ones. Just go ahead and get those all connected. And we'll tuck them back down in here because we have a shield that we have to put on right there. So we want to make sure those are well tucked. Once you've done that, like I said, you can go ahead and cinch down all your bolts. These are going to be 17 millimeter, also 5/8 if you're using standard. And like I said, this is 17 millimeter or 5/8. Just go ahead and drive them all in. You'll see I'm using a 4-inch extension here. Actually, I believe this is a 6-inch extension. They are very helpful, not really necessary, but I use them just to kind of save my back. So our next step is assembling the cross beam. So this will come just like this. The only thing that I think you should be cognizant of is mind those wires that are on the right side. You want to make sure you don't pinch or damage those because we need to connect them to these upward masts. So you're just going to go ahead and pick it up, and it really is just as simple as sliding these tongues. You'll see there's 2 tongues on either side. You're going to slide those. Easier said than done. There we go. You're going to slide those right over. They will basically sheathe those uprights. Now once you've done that, come on over to here. And we're going to go ahead and connect all of these connectors just so we don't have to worry about it later on. And like I said, just like the front ones, these are the exact same ones. They're all unique. You don't really have to worry about accidentally plugging them into the wrong ones. The only thing that you do need to be aware of is that you need to tuck them back here because we are going to be putting a couple of guards right here. Before we do that though, we need to put the bolts that hold this in place in. And that's going to be 3 different bolts. So we will go ahead and pilot them by our fingers first, as always. And then essentially you're just going to do the exact same thing for the other side. 3 bolts. We're going to guide those in with our fingers first, and then we will come back and tighten those down with an impact. All right, and once you have those all in by fingers, you can go ahead and go back. We're going to use an Allen key attached to our impact, and we'll go ahead and drive these in. If you have an extension, it can be very helpful in this instance. Now after you have those 4 bolts driven, those are the ones that are the Allen key and impact, you're going to want to switch over to a 13 millimeter or 1/2-inch socket bit, and then go ahead and drive these 2 sockets that we have on either side. Just like so. So we have just a couple of other things that we need to shore up on this mast. So there is a small Phillips head screw that secures the other side of this shield to your uprights. That is a Phillips head bit. We'll just do that for both sides. And then finally, we have one more Allen head bit that we need to install. That's going to be this fella right here. And this one is going to go straight up into the mast right there. Using an extension on this one can be helpful because it's a little tight in there. Usually I would drive that with my fingers first just to make sure I don't cross thread or anything like that. But in this instance, we can go ahead and do it like this because we have already secured down the other bolts. So this should be in place. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach these plastic skirts. These basically just cover up your bolts and whatnot so you have a cleaner finish on your machine. So if you come around to the side here, I can show you how we install this. So we need to have it at this angle, and there is a little hole for this clip right here. So we're going to put it into that hole and push into that hole. Now when doing that, should line us up. You'll hear it click in a couple of different spots. If you see the lips sticking out, just give it a slight little shove, and that should get you in place. This is secured with 3 Phillips head screws. So you just go ahead and grab those and drive them home. And now we're just going to do the exact same thing for the other side. Okay, so our next step is to put on the console mount. So that's going to be this piece right here. That's what we're looking at. We want this piece to be facing the back of the treadmill. And when we do this, we're going to have to feed these 2 cables up through these 2 holes right here, just in order to keep everything together properly. And then we will drop that in place. And it's just going to take 2 bolts. Unfortunately, you can't start these with your fingers, so we'll just put them on the drill, and we will start them really slowly so we can feel if there's any resistance. I'll do one side and then I'll do the other just so we don't get it out of alignment. And we'll just drive it all the way down, just like that. All right, so our next step is actually attaching the console. So when you're attaching your console, you will have this little box. This will be on either the wires coming up from the base or from the back of your console. You'll need to remove that temporarily just so you can feed your cords through the back of the console mount. Once you have that through the back of the console mount, you can go ahead and take your box and reattach it and go ahead and attach your cables. We can do that now, just like so. And then we're going to go ahead and grab the 4 bolts that we need, connect this to the frame. As always, when you can, start them with your fingers. Now that you have all 4 of those bolts in place, we'll go ahead and grab our driver and we'll go ahead and lock these down. Just be mindful of where your cables are. There is potential for them to get behind the bolt, therefore get pinched and damaged. Just make sure that doesn't happen. And there you go, that is now connected. We can tuck a little of the excess back in towards the console, and then we will take our cover and we'll start at the bottom here and just push our way up. Something I should have mentioned at the beginning of this video, before you do any of the assembly on this video, remove your plastic guards that are on the front of it. They are removed by Phillips head. Take those all off, otherwise you will damage them. Your last step is reapplying your plastic shields. The way I usually do that is I'll put my center one in first, push it right up against the frame, partially drive it, and then put in my side ones. All right, and your final step is going to be putting on your hood. Easiest way to do this is to turn it slightly sideways, line it up with your arms, and then slowly drop it into place. And all you need to do is just, I usually start in the middle, slightly lift it until you can line up the hole and drive your screw, just like that. And then we can go ahead and put the rest of them in. You might need to wiggle it a little bit. If not, then you just go ahead and drive them like so. And once you have your hood installed, that's how you complete a Inspire T7 treadmill.